Hello everyone, this is Gary Bennett at Excel Me. Welcome to class number 3 of our free YouTube videos. This is going to be covering chapter number 3 in my book. Just a housekeeping piece of business here, if I have it. I sent out emails to all the students today with the new courses that are available on my website. The one that's new that just was announced for January is the one on tvOS, which is programming the Apple TV using Swift 2.0. And you can see here, if you go to the schedule, the dates and the time for that. And for Cyber today, for Cyber Monday, that's half price off. So that starts on January 4th. So enough about that. Let's go ahead and get started talking about data types and all about data in chapter 3. And the example that's in chapter 3, let me just bring up my Xcode. And let's bring up the playground example here so you don't have to watch me type it all in. What we're doing here in this particular example is taking two numbers, and what we're doing is declaring them and initializing them at the same time. So first number holds the number integer 2. The second number, the variable second number, holds of 3, that's of type integer. So we can see here what that results to in a 2 and in a 3. Now if we want to add those two numbers together, we can do that by saying first number plus second number is equal to total number. That's going to be results in a 5. And now we can increment first number by 1, incrementing second number by 1. So first number was 2, it goes to 3. Second number was a 3, it goes to 4. And now if I add them together, instead of what I got was 5, I now get 7. And then I can print that out. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on here. So in Swift, when you declare a variable, you have to say if it's going to be a constant or if it can change. If it can change, it's also referred to as mutable. Mutable. It will change. It will vary. If it's a constant, it is non-variable, and it will be declared with something like a let statement. Okay? Meaning it's not going to change. Now, if you try to change a constant in your program like I just did here, changing it from here I assigned it, I declared it and initialized it here on line 10, and now I'm changing it again, it's going to squawk at me and say, did you really want to make that a let instead of a var? And if I hit OK, it's going to change that up here on line 10 to a var, meaning you really meant to change it and you assigned it as a constant, and it will make the change there for us. Okay, now when you want to print out your variables, what you can do, and you can format your strings the same way, is by using the / and putting into parentheses your variable name. And that will print it out, as you can see right here. And if you're assigning it to a string, which we'll see later on, you can also format your string that way. Okay, now a couple things to note. Your compiler, Xcode, is smart, and Swift is too. It knows that these are type integers. An integer is a whole number, positive or negative. A float is any number that has a decimal in it. So now, right now, second number is of type integer. If I do that, change it to 3.0, it now knows that it's of type float. Okay? And so here it's saying you're trying to add two different types of data, an integer and a float. We'll talk about later on how you can resolve that. Okay? So when you're dealing with data and doing operations on it, operations like to be performed on data that are the same type, both integers, strings, floats, doubles, those types that we talk about in chapter 3 are discussed, and it likes to do it to the same type. So if I did something like Gary Bennett, okay. Oops, might help if I put my quotes around it. Thinking and typing at the same time is always scary here, and talking. Okay, so it's fine here. Total sum will, if I get rid of these compiler errors here, will update. Let me just comment these out. Okay, so you can see it will add the strings together. It will append one string onto another. And if I put a space right here, I'll get a space between Gary Bennett. All right. So the great thing about Swift is you don't have to tell it what the data type is. It will figure it out. If you do need to explicitly imply it, this is the syntax to say, hey, just who's ever reading this, it is clear that it is a string. Assuming Gary can type. Okay. So read chapter 3 in the book. It's pretty straightforward. It covers the different data types in the chapter and how to perform operations on them and what's allowed and what isn't. Also, for those of you that are attending live, I will go ahead and stop the YouTube recording, and I'll be happy to answer your questions on any topic in the iOS or tvOS arena. And again, those of you that are listening to the YouTube, feel free to visit my website under free videos, and you can see how to subscribe to my YouTube channel and the free online class that happens every other Wednesday. And you can attend live and ask questions too. Thanks, everybody.